80 miles north of Kiev is the town of Slavutic. Almost everyone who lives here works in the same place, and most commute by train. Today, I'm going to join them. So I assume this was the station clock, but apparently it's a radiation meter. When did you ever get on a train having checked the radiation meter? The answer is when you're catching a train to a nuclear disaster zone. It's very busy, lots of early morning workers. It's quite interesting. You don't need to get a ticket because nobody in their right mind is going to go to Chernobyl unless they're working. No turning back now. This train is taking us into the heart of the Chernobyl radiation exclusion zone, where I'm going to visit the reactors and the original workers' town of Pripyat. I'm actually a bag of nerves, but everybody else looks pretty relaxed. Morning.
Morning.
I am Christopher.
I'm Alice. Nice to meet you.
How long have you worked at Chernobyl?
I have been working for 4 years already.
Do you worry at all about radiation?
No, I don't worry, because it's no radiation nowadays.
Should I be worried? Because I'm worried.
Why?
Because I'm a big wimp.
You don't worry.
This railway line, dating back to the 1920s, is one of the main reasons the nuclear power plant was built here. Around 16 sites were shortlisted, but the fact they'd already gone to the trouble to build this rural railway tipped the balance in favour of Chernobyl. So that's Chernobyl. Wow, it looks enormous. It's a huge site. In 1986, the power station employed over 10,000 people. Today, thanks to one stupid mistake, 2,300 people still work here purely to clean it up. So many people. God. So this is it. Nuclear reactor number 4. This is the one that for 10 days spewed out so much lethal radiation that all the surrounding area may well not recover for tens of thousands of years. Apparently it's safe for me to stand here because they built this huge concrete and steel arch, completely sealing everything in. When reactor number 4 exploded in the early hours of the 26th of April 1986, after a botched safety test, it caused the worst nuclear disaster the world had ever seen. 2 died that day, and 29 emergency workers died in the coming weeks, and thousands more are still dying from the radiation. But on the morning after the explosion in the nearby town of Pripyat, life continued as normal for most of the workers and their families, who were completely unaware of the invisible but deadly radiation that was raining down on top of them. So keen were the authorities to downplay the disaster that, according to some reports, they even ran the rides at the town's newly built amusement park that morning. The Kremlin kept tight-lipped about the disaster for 2 days, until abnormally high radiation levels were detected over Sweden, some 800 miles away. Only then did the authorities think they had to admit the truth to the rest of the world. When the evacuation finally got underway, residents were told they'd be back in their homes within a few days. But of course, they never returned. The town's train station was also abandoned. This has got to be the ultimate train graveyard. Behind me, tucked away in these woods, are all the locomotives, carriages, rolling stock that were working here on that fatal day. They were so contaminated by radiation, they've never ever moved a single millimetre since. But for all these stricken trains destined to rust in peace, the same is not true of the line itself. Morning! Morning! Can I get up there? Welcome to train. Thank you. This train has a really important role to play, but I've got serious misgivings about taking a ride. Oleg, what does this train carry?
Этот поезд перевозит отработавшее ядерное топливо, которое было в активных зонах реакторов наших. Топливо радиоактивное, и оно перевозится в специальном упаковочном чехле, который находится в вагоне-контейнере.
Over the next few years, this train's job is to carry 21,000 fuel assemblies, about 3,000 tons of radioactive waste, away from the reactors for disposal. So, are we carrying radioactive material behind us today?
Сейчас мы топливо не перевозим, это заявка нашего цеха, и это является технологической перевозкой на сегодняшний день.
Thank heavens for that. Of course, they can't just fly tip it. This is their brand new nuclear storage facility. So this is where the nuclear waste actually comes to, which is where the guys say the real work starts, but the whole place is so nuclear. Okay, I'm going in. Project director Steve White from Bury in the UK is going to show me where it all ends up.
That train will bring the nuclear fuel to be processed in the facility behind.
So it's all processed there.
All chopped and packaged, and then its final resting place will be in these modules here, which we can go and have a look at now if you like.
The clean-up operation has taken the cost of the accident to over $700 billion US. All because of that one stupid mistake. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's just like a giant laundrette. What is this?
This are what we refer to as the storage modules.
See, there's one already in there. So, would that be radioactive?
Yes, yes it will be, but not too radioactive. I mean, you wouldn't want to stand there for hours on end. It's very thick steel and it's shielded, and there will be further shielding on the front of the door. But yes, there will be radiation coming out from that.
I feel kind of reassured now by guys like you, and but there's still that fear of coming here. It's a word that frightens people.
Yeah, and again, it's deceiving. As you probably came through the area, you would see that we've got trees all in bloom, wildlife is blooming, radiation you can't smell, you can't see, you can't taste it. The area is still contaminated, and it needs to be respected, of course.
But how about me? Am I contaminated? So this is one final machine to tell me, basically, that I'm free of radiation. I hope I am. So I put my hands flat, put my head against it. Yeah!